And do you have a leaning towards more samadhi or more vipassana in your practice, like more?
I don't make those divisions because there's three different levels of concentration: momentary concentration, access concentration, and then the full absorbed concentration. And in vipassana, we develop more of the momentary concentration. But concentration, to me, is the mind resting in the present moment without any hindrances. And that's the definition of jhana, right? 5 hindrances aside.
Right.
And you have joy and happiness applied in sustained thought. So you could reach the same by practicing vipassana, in my experience. And understanding what the Buddha taught. Now, so we practice concentration because our mind is not concentrated. So we have to have an object to start with. So you might take the breathing, you might stare at a candle flame, you might just feel your hands touching together, something that'll kind of hold your attention. And so you stop, worrying about other things. And the longer you're able to hold the attention there, then the mind stops reacting to things. But you have to be mindful because you're going to, you're feeling itch and you want to scratch it, or you're moving because of pain. So there's so many, it takes a strong degree of concentration to ward off that. And if you're not mindful, you won't gain concentration. In fact, in all the lists of mental factors, the Eightfold Path, the 5 spiritual faculties, the factors of enlightenment, mindfulness comes before concentration. And because it's through the mindfulness that you're able to overcome the hindrances. And if you don't overcome the hindrances, you're not going to attain the concentration. So by practicing mindfulness, in the way that I kind of advise people, is you're using the expanding and contracting movements of the breathing, and even doing deep, slow breathing, and that helps you to stay focused there in the body. And then you're not feeling just one point; you're feeling many different sensations. But it's all there in a very localized area. The mind's not wandering around, so it's still concentrated, even though there might be a number of things going on. It's still a much more concentrated state than your normal state. And it's enough so that the hindrances will also subside. And basically that's the present moment. When the hindrances subside, the mind is resting in the present moment, and that's a concentrated state. Objects are coming and going, but the mind is not moving. And that's where people get this wrong idea about concentration. And they think it's being totally absorbed in one object, which is, one could do that, but I don't, from my understanding of Buddha's teaching, he didn't recommend that, or he might have in a few occasions, but almost at the end of every sutta, after he mentions attaining the first, second, and third, fourth jhana through practicing mindfulness, or just attaining, he says, now one bends the attention to overcoming the defilements. That means perceiving impermanence. Because the mind is clear enough there to see how quickly things are rising and vanishing, and to contemplate the 5 aggregates. You can't really do that if the mind is just totally absorbed in bliss and in quietness and so on. So the what is called the momentary concentration is, or being grounded in the body, is equivalent to the jhana. And when you're doing yoga exercise, you feel the piti and the sukha from doing yoga exercise too, and that's also the beginning phases of attaining those jhanas, is feeling the very pleasant sensations in the body and so on. And you can get that while doing yoga too. And then going directly into developing deeper insights without having to practice concentration as a specific kind of one-pointed practice, because that's much more difficult to do.
Right.
That's why a lot of people get frustrated. But when you use the breathing and the body, and you have more things to notice, then it can be easier for people. Just being aware of sitting, breathing. You're not focused on one thing, but you're feeling that outline of the body, and the breathing is there in the middle, but you're feeling different sensations. And then you're noticing thoughts. When a thought comes up, thinking, you hear a sound kind of just come and go. But because of that anchor to the breathing and sensations, the mind doesn't chase them. And is able to then eventually reach this deeper, even to the fourth jhana level of just being aware in the grounded in the breathing body. That's what my sort of approach. Because look, we have this body with us all the time, right?
Yeah.
We have to carry it around with us 24/7, 365. How many, with the last number we don't know.
Right.
So why not use it for a good purpose?
Absolutely.
By staying grounded in the present moment. Because it brings so many benefits. And it's not that difficult to do if people just, take some training, but it's not that difficult to do. But the yoga practices dramatically help to increase one's chances, 100%.